Radio Free Skaro!
Hello, everyone. Welcome to Radio Free Skaro, episode number 891. I am Stephen in Edmonton.
Warren in Vancouver.
And Chris in Edmonton.
It's that time again, folks. For the first time since last year, or for the first time since 3 years ago, depending on your point of view. It's the official Radio Free Skaro Gallifrey One preview show. This very day. I don't know when did we actually start doing these? Did we, I mean, not the official ones.
Not the first one. It couldn't have been the first time we went.
No.
I know we did something akin to this before the first one we went to.
I think we did one probably leading up to the one we didn't go to, which was in 2008. We thought, we're totally going to go. And then
maybe.
Didn't go.
Maybe. I don't remember. I don't remember that, but I'm pretty sure we did something leading up to 2009 because I seem to remember like looking at schedules and being all like, gotta go to that panel, gotta go to that panel, gotta go to that panel, and made it to maybe a third of what we wanted.
Mm-hmm.
Here's my question. Is this, for me and Chris, is this our 13th or 14th? I don't remember how many it is.
Yeah, because technically I've been to one more than you now, haven't I?
Yes, technically you have been to one more than us.
That's quite, although technically you have paid for the same amount.
That's true.
So,
True.
It's tickets sold, not tickets attended. When you look at empty seats in a hockey rink or something.
I don't count it that way. I count having been there. So
I agree.
Yeah,
anyway, if it's 13
for us,
perfect. That totally aligns with Jody, and it was completely intentional.
Whereas mine's 14. We're celebrating the arrival of the 14th Doctor for one weekend only. Probably. I'm just guessing at that when it comes to November of this calendar year. Anyway, big weekend for some. It's the Super Bowl too, or if you're
whatever,
if you're a network or restaurant that's not affiliated with it, the big game, because you can't actually say the name of it. I don't care about that. I haven't watched it in years, and I probably never will.
Here's what I did. I did go to a bunch of friends' place to watch it, to kind of hang out with them and maybe watch it. But here's, in typical Warren form, the Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness trailer came out. So I just, while they're watching the game, said, I'm just going to put my headphones in and watch this here trailer for a couple minutes on my phone.
Yeah, I know. There's no great big...
yes, there is.
There is. What's the trailer? Is it the Flash?
In quotes. Yeah, it is the Flash with Ezra Miller. And as I put on Twitter, I'm really looking forward to how many different ways they can cut away from the fact that he's in this movie, because they're gonna.
Oh, that's adorable.
He's a bête noire, let's put it that way.
Yeah.
They are a bête noire, pardon me.
It's unfortunate that the Flash, Warren, your favorite movie franchise, is
oh boy, yeah, love it. And TV, don't forget the TV franchise.
You love the TV franchise too. Yeah.
Hey, Rachel Talag was employed by it, so that's good.
That's true. Paid a lot of people a lot of money in Vancouver. There's a lot of empty apartments right now with paid for by CW shows.
CW, there's the pandemic, and then the CW quitting all these TV shows. The Berlanti pandemic.
Yeah. We're recording this on a Friday night of all things, if you can believe it. So our Patreon supporters are actually going to get this episode a day early before they, if they're heading down to LA sooner than later. We're in Western Canada, so we, this is us and Chris and I in Edmonton. Like, this is our one direct flight. We can fly to Amsterdam too, direct. I don't think it's about it in this entire world, which is great. But Warren, you're going down there early. You're going down there like Sunday.
Going there Sunday.
Yeah,
doing some touristy stuff, and then Gallifrey Wednesday. Not that Gallifrey's on Wednesday, but I'll be there by Wednesday.
No, Chris is, as per usual, going down there Tuesday because you like to get there nice and early and get settled, that sort of thing.
Settle in, do a Ralph's run, get some supplies. Yep.
You do Ralph's run? Is that how you do it?
Yep.
Yeah. This podcast is brought to you by Yummy.com, by the way.
Yummy.com.
Again. Yeah. Yummy.
We did Yummy.com one year. I don't know how many years ago. It was fine. Yeah.
Yeah.
They bring it to your door, so that's what I like about it.
It's handy. For those who are new or had never done this before, yummy.com is a website. It's a grocery delivery site. They're honestly, now since the pandemic, there might have been more sites that actually do this, deliver groceries, but we heard about yummy.com.
I guarantee there are, yeah.
Yeah.
For those who don't object to shopping at Amazon, I'm pretty sure Amazon does that now there.
Oh, they probably do too, don't they? Yeah. I didn't know that actually, because I've never gotten groceries on Amazon up here. I only get Doctor Who DVDs.
Can you even do that with Amazon up here? I have no idea.
No.
I've never bothered. I live near 5 grocery stores, so I don't.
Yeah. Oh, well, you live in a 15-minute livable city, Warren. That is apparently the worst thing you could possibly do.
Yes. Apparently, I know this Edmonton joke.
Yeah.
You have to explain it to others, though.
Apparently, it's the thing that's upsetting conservatives now. Yummy.com is very handy. We do it every year. We land. We find out what our room number is. I've already got like the website. I got a cart full with stuff. You do it now. You shop now. You fill your cart now when you're thinking of, here are the smart things that I want to eat and drink and stuff. Because you can't order alcohol in there too, because it's California, and then so you're not like impulse buying. Oh, let's just get like a case lot of Pringles or something like that. And then once we get there, and then we found out a room, and then we get in there, and so basically we say, okay, let's press order on the yummy.com thing, because it takes 60 to 90 minutes because LA, and then you have groceries for the whole weekend. So I recommend it. It's very good. If you don't have the option to run to Ralph's, which is a few, I don't know how far away is that, like 5-10 minute drive,
like a mile
it's a mile
or something.
Yeah.
A little over a mile. I just Uber it anyway, or cab, whatever.
Right, that's true. But if you don't want to do that, if you just want to settle in, anyway, recommend it. Warren's done it. I will do it. We'll do it. Yeah. So
I'm honestly surprised, Stephen, that you don't do a little more, because across from the Ralphs is a Whole Foods, or is it Trader Joe's?
I have no idea. Is it? I don't know. Most of the people just go to Ralph's, and I thought, this is the golden age of vegetarianism, and that you don't have to go to specialist shops anymore to get your fake meats and your crap and all that stuff. So usually don't have to worry about it.
Give me some crap. I'm vegetarian. Come on, crap.
I know. Although I do like my artisanal almond milk yogurt. So I'm gonna have to go further afield.
Okay, hipster. Whatever you say.
Further afield to find that, but
man, anyway. I live in Vancouver, and I'm offended by that.
I know. Anyway, the weather, incidentally, we don't usually talk about weather on this, but it's something to look forward to. It's we're looking at like high teens to a high of like 20 degrees. We're talking Celsius here, by the way. America, rest of the world uses Celsius. Get with the times. So it's going to be pleasant. It's going to be nice. It's going to be a nice little respite away from winter. If there are those of you who are enduring winter right now, if you're coming from Australia or New Zealand, sorry, it's going to be colder for you, but it's nice. I like maybe there will be more outdoor sunny interviews as there were last year, because it was really nice outside, and I didn't feel like cornering Matthew Sweet and Rob Ritchie in a dark room somewhere and says, let's just go lie down outside in the grass. And it was very nice. So maybe that's what you want to do.
If you see Matthew Sweet this year, tell him you're from GB News. It'll go over well.
Yeah, he tweeted a lot about GB News in recent days, didn't he? Yeah.
He does not like them, man. For good reason, they suck. But
they're terrible. Yeah, quite awful. Quite awful indeed. The hotel itself, I mean, if you've ever flown to the airport, I'm more telling myself this because it's been a year since we did a flight, and it was the last year's Gallifrey One, but there's the shuttles along the outside there, and there'll be it will seem forever. Actually, I'm trying to think, they might have changed the layout. I know they've been doing some construction. They were last year at LAX. You're talking about,
yeah,
at LAX.
Okay.
It was under construction 3 years ago when I was last there.
Well,
it's an airport. It's always under construction.
And they moved all the shuttle locations to the higher upper level.
Yeah, it's on. It was on the upstairs last year. I don't know if that's the case this year. So get used to maybe not going to where you usually do on the ground floor. It might be on the upper floor, as it was for us.
Yeah, no, it is. I got an email from the Marriott mentioning the shuttle being on the second level.
Oh, that's too bad. I don't know why I say that, but it will seem like forever when you think that maybe a shuttle isn't coming, and I have to think about walking or getting another thing, but they will arrive. Don't worry, and they'll take you right to
they do take a bit though. Yes, that's true.
I'll take you right to the hotel. Where you'll check in and get room, and then it's all fun. But yeah, so weather's looking good. Yummy.com. Anything else? Oh, vaccinated. Don't forget to get vaccinated. Yeah. I'm sure you already are vaccinated or have a recent COVID test. Just get vaccinated, of course. Face masks required in all convention spaces. You may remove your mask while eating or drinking during convention photo ops. And while in the outdoor places and stuff, and while you're presenting your costume. Also, I think it probably for those of us on the main stage, it's probably not required. I wore the mask during our live show, anyway. But yeah. But then I think it was Matt Strevens who said, "Oh, we're not wearing these, are we? We're all doing this commentary. We should probably just take them." Okay, well, I guess we're taking them off now. So we did.
Don't listen to British people.
Because what do they know?
I like how you're not even specific. It's just all British people.
Listen, if you weren't sitting next to Sacha Dhawan and that $1 million smile of his, and if he was wearing a mask, I've never seen that. So,
well, if you wore a clear mask, you'd still see it.
That's true. It's true.
The couple of places so we always try to go to an outing on usually the Thursday. So we're a few of us are doing some stuff, and one of the things we're doing is a studio tour, and proof of vaccination required for that.
Interesting. And wow.
Another thing we're doing is a museum, masking required. So
also good.
It's actually kind of neat and good to see. There's still some of that still going on, because Stephen, you and I live in Canadian Texas, Canadian Florida.
Well, even here in Granola Town, it's just pretty lax. So I mean,
yeah, I think it's
where the government is pandering to the very, very, very super small minority of people without vaccinations.
They're going to say they're very, very, very stupid, but that's also what they're doing. So
that's true. That is true. Yeah, it feels like the whole world is sort of saying, we're done with this, and just pretended it doesn't exist. Well, it still does. So be safe. If you're, as I've been saying a lot, last year I was in the lobby with my mask on the whole time. I had my beverage of choice in a water bottle. I would lift up said mask, take a sip of the water bottle, down goes the mask, and we're back at it again. So
that's what I did. At CanCon, same thing.
Yeah, it was easy. It was easy.
It's not that tough.
It was amazing how normal it all felt last year. And I feel like a lot of the people who weren't there last year and probably this year will feel the same very soon. Because last year was weird because, it was the first time I'd really seen people in the last 2 years, as it was for a lot of us. And there was like that sort of heightened emotion of like, oh my God, we're going to see people again. This is kind of weird and stuff like this is so strange. And you got over it pretty quick. It was a very short, a customization period, so to speak. So
yeah, last year there were also the and you can probably speak to this better than I can since you were there. The red and blue lanyards.
Oh yeah, that's right.
For
and there's news about that too.
Please keep your distance versus I'm okay with people approaching. Not happening this year, as in they didn't order more and don't have enough to have them go around, but
they said bring them though if you want to keep the social
bring them if you have
them
from last year. But I don't know how that went last year, if that was respected or not.
I don't know either. Yeah, or maybe people were just like, I'm not comfortable with, and then maybe they just said, hell with this. I'm actually quite comfortable with being around people. I'm not too sure, but yeah, I don't remember that. I forgot all about that. I was wearing the I'm okay gather round lanyard, so that never really affected me. But yeah. So anyway, COVID still a thing, but will not affect our fun, everyone. Right. Where shall we begin? Anything else you want to talk about before we actually go through the schedule and point out our favorites and stuff like that? You two chaps? Anything?
Nothing springs to mind. We've been around this rodeo quite a few times, so.
Yeah. I suppose we should point out that unlike the past few years, there's nothing on the lobby level anymore. There used to be like that the main secondary program room where like the TARDIS talks was and other things were, I think 1 year the photo ops is there too, as I recall. It's no longer there. It's unavailable. Here there be dragons, it says on the map and everything. It's all now on the convention level. That includes the photo studio, which used to be the TARDIS pass-through room. That is now the photo studio. So I don't know what that's going to do with lines. I'm imagining a couple people will want to have their picture taken with Jodie Whittaker, who's going to be there, for instance. So there might there might be lines to deal with. I'm not too sure how they'll handle all that, because the demand is going to be massive. But there will only be 2,600 people there too, as opposed to 3,300 or 3,800. So there's that too to factor in. So there. Well, we should tell you that so Thursday night is the usual LobbyCon, the unofficial start of the convention. There is an official start to the convention where they do an In-N-Out burger run and stuff like that. But let's face it, the lobby is the time, and that's where the time. That's where we all sort of gather, especially that Thursday night. So yeah, your first LobbyCon in 3 years, chaps. You looking forward to it?
Of course. I mean, there's no question of that. Yeah. Well, I'm a little trepidatious, like you said. It's I've been to a con actually, but it was a lot smaller. So, and I've been to a conference, but that's a business thing. So there's no after work socializing nonsense, or there is, but I'm not going anywhere near it. So this will be different.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it'll be fun. You'll have fun. Warren.
I'm sure I'll have fun. Yes, that is a general idea. Yes,
guarantee it. But of course, we'll all be resting up for the beginning of the convention, which is at Friday. I know there's 2 panels that start at 10 a.m. You don't want to go to those. You want to get into your seats early.
Wow.
For the Radio Free Skaro live show, 11 a.m. main stage. Radio Free Skaro Get Back with guests Colin Baker, Sophie Aldred, Janet Fielding, Craig Ells, Patrick O'Kane, Daft Shermer, Jamie Magnus Stone, all in an hour. Let me tell you, we usually try to wrap that thing up with like 10 minutes before, because we're good convention hosts and stuff. We are taking our full allotted 55 minutes for that, because that's a jam-packed show. Yeah. Sorry, Ken Deep and Wendy Padbury, who are immediately after us. We will allow you your full hour, but we're going to be pushing the clock. That's a jam-packed show.
Yeah.
It's going to be fun, though.
Yeah.
What's the matter, Chris? You have reservations now?
No.
Okay.
It's just it's a lot of people for an hour.
I know.
A lot of people for an hour. I just feel bad that it. I mean, obviously, I don't know how it's going to go or whatever, and we've talked in the past about how lineups for the live show can often be in flux, including during the show itself.
Mm-hmm.
So if everyone does happen to show up, I just feel bad in advance if we seem to give them short shrift.
No. As Sean Lyon, the head of Gallifrey One, there's no title that can contain all the things that he does for it. As he sort of says, like this is kind of like the sampler pack. Like, our live show is basically here is what a taster of.
It's your Doctor Who flight.
It is. It really is. A flight of whiskey.
It's more like those. Yeah. It's more like those 3 or 4 small cereals in a package you give a kid. Fruit Loops and the other ones.
Oh, I used to love those. Because they're they're great for teddy bears after. Like, look at the teddy bears get a cereal box now for them to play with. I mean, that was so awesome.
I hadn't thought of that, but here we are.
Oh yeah.
So you're saying slice Colin Baker down the middle and pour in the milk?
Don't. Oh, no, I never did that.
I'm not saying that at all.
No.
What are you talking about?
Like basically they're going to be 4 15-minute segments, and that's even pushing it then. So yeah, it's as close to a network talk show as you can get, basically, because we're really up on the clock and stuff. So we,
all right, which hosts of yours are you going to be? I call
Craig Ferguson.
Dick Cavett.
Craig Ferguson, please.
Dick Cavett or Phil Donahue, I'll take either.
All right, you take him. I love Craig Ferguson, and so I often think of him whenever the name Patricia Quinn comes up. Yeah. Anyway, it'll be a good time. I've one rule that I have with myself is that I say to myself as I go to sleep, don't think about Gallifrey One interviews, because you will never get to sleep. And last night I finally accidentally thought about Gallifrey One interviews and just imagining how they went, and I did not get to sleep for quite a while. But
well, that's where alcohol, sleeping pills, maybe not at the same time.
Yeah.
can come in to help you out, especially the night before.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's always an exciting time. Love it. Would not have any other. The fear you get that everything's going to go off without a hitch is always there, and I wouldn't feel alive if it wasn't for it.
The fear of it going well.
Sometimes you'll think, oh, something will go wrong, but because there hasn't really been a disaster yet. Like there hasn't been like an earthquake or something. Oh, great.
I like how this is the only time of the year my usual pessimistic self. For some reason, I'm not like that during I have no idea why, but I am the rest of my life. So,
well, it's Chip is there again. If it wasn't for Chip, I would feel terrified. I think a lot more, because he's our rock back there playing the videos, flashing the times. I had a little clock next to me last year just because he was a little busier with a couple other things too. But it's, I go out there like 35 minutes before and like press record because I'm terrified of the thing not recording.
That's fair.
Because that's terrifying. I worry about, because it's always a bit of a, they get the stage set up. Is the light's going to happen? Is the sound check going to happen? It's always, a race to the finish like anything. Because we're the first thing on. And so naturally, the stage is sort of like just getting finished up. And so, that sort of thing always sort of kind of plays into it. But fun times, fun. Just imagine all of our terror as we walk on stage proudly and confident to kick off Gallifrey One.
Like how every year we rattle through, like people know this by now that we're scared poopless.
I know. This might be someone's first ever Radio Free Skaro though. So there we go. You never know. Never assume everyone's listened to the previous 890 episodes is what I'm saying. We're not a Marvel streaming series, Warren.
Wow.
Yeah. I went there. Anyway. Stick around afterwards, though, for the Wendy Padbury interview again. Going on at 12 o'clock sharp. We guarantee it. They'll get on at 12 o'clock sharp. They might not have a lot of time beforehand, but 12 o'clock they will be on there. Ken and Wendy. How do you want to do? Part of me just wanted to almost like cover off all the main stage stuff and then go through the other side stage stuff. I don't know how you cats want to do this.
Any way you'd like is fine with me.
In past, we've just kind of gone down chronologically and whatever interests us in a particular time slot, just, make mention of it.
All right. Well, there's nothing there's Cyclocate Create, which is all about creating, from fan fiction to scarves and stuff, but you don't want to go to that because it's directly opposite our live show. So, and you certainly don't want to go see SF Television The Year in Review because that's also directly opposite our live show. What time's the dealer room open? Noon? Is it noon?
10. It's a 10. So I might wander in there and see if I get a regen set, and if I can, oh well.
Oh yeah, that's right, regen set. I would like to get that.
Well, I could pop in and while you're worrying and try to pick up two of them.
That's true.
Which is optimistic of me. Who knows if I'm going to get anywhere near them before they sell out.
Yeah, no, it's right across the hall. It's it's easy for us, but.
No, I can't go in there before it's open, so no, it isn't that easy.
Well, once that's true, but anyway,
I see what you're saying. Yes,
yeah, but as you say, it'll be open before we go on and
for once
stuff.
Yeah, because it usually opens right after, or like at the exact
or at the same time.
Yeah. There is the POC Whovian and Friends meetup that's happening at noon, which is pretty cool. Our friends Joy Piedmont and Nicole Hill are there for that. So go hang out. We're not doing a RFS meetup this year. There aren't a lot of meetups from what I see. Just because closed room, lots of people.
Yeah, we're all a little. Yeah,
skittish.
Nervous isn't the right word. Skittish is a better word. Than nervous.
We don't want to put people in any. We'll be around. Chris is 6'10". You'll not miss him, but.
Just to throw a shout out to a couple friends who are doing the panel.
Yeah,
there's Alien Bodies and Ancestor Cells at 12 o'clock as well, which is about the BBC Books range of novels from the late 90s.
Oh, who's in that then, Chris? Tell us.
Stacey Smith, David Whittam, couple of friends, and they're
Jason
doing
Miller's
that.
Good egg too.
Yeah.
Don't know the other guys. I'm sure they
don't know. Yeah. He won't tell you this, but I do a brilliant impersonation of David Whittam and his accent. It's note perfect.
I've heard your British accent. I doubt this very much.
No, it's perfect. Even he said so. So
if I tell him this, will they go away? I think he's thinking.
Yeah, it was a great time. There's a big old Sarah Jane Adventures panel at 12:45 on the main stage with Daniel Anthony's going to be there. We'll hear about more from him later on. Arwen Jones, who's production designer, Joseph Lister, Katie Manning, Gary Russell, all moderated by our good friend Deb Stanish. So that's happening at 12:45 on the main stage. Michael Troughton and Fraser Hines, aka the people who have played Patrick Troughton on BBC Audio, will be on the second stage, the program B there at 1:00. So that'll be kind of cool. But Warren, what's happening at 2:00 on program B?
Well, first of all, before we say that, we would be remiss if we didn't mention the TARDIS Talks are back from 1 to 3 p.m. The Academic Symposium. I'm not bright enough to be at that, but it's happening.
There is an intelligence test at the door to a light, and Warren fails every time. Every time you go in
every
there.
Time. They just go, no, we're not going through this again. I'm like, but I want to come in. I'm
woman,
so
TV. It's just like you fail it every single time.
Exactly. I can't get it right.
I know.
Unlike a certain president. Okay, so at 2, I will be interviewing Patrick O'Kane. I believe that's. I'm not gonna say. You say his name. I'm gonna screw this up. The dog
shot.
man.
It's no. Patrick O'Kane is a shot. This is vital research.
That one I could have got.
Yeah,
Craig
Ells, who is Carvanista. I was gonna say Caravanista, like always. I'm gonna have to practice before next week to get this right. So yes, I'll be interviewing the two of them, and it'll be just downhill from there when I screw their names up.
Son, you are be like Dave Shutton,
Eels
Springfield Shopper. Yeah, you'd be like, who are you? Where are you going? Do your research, son. Yeah, they'll be on our live show like 2 hours previous to that. You'll be in the corner just like jotting down like, okay.
I'll be not subtle about it. I'll just sit there
doing
with a pen
some
and paper.
notes. Yeah, just like could you just mention that again? Actually, don't say that. Don't answer that whole question, Craig. I'm going to actually ask you that in a couple hours time. Thank you very much.
And then since they're only going to have about 5-10 minutes, maybe I'm just going to. It's on mine is an hour. I'm just going to repeat the same questions at 10-minute intervals. That's what I'm going to do.
Every 10 minutes. It'd be like a morning talk show. You just like every 10 minutes, people come in like the morning news, and it's just like, we're just doing the same 10
news
minutes
on the
again.
ones.
Yep. Traffic and travel. Yep. Absolutely.
You give us 10 minutes, we'll give you the world.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just going to throw out 2:15 of the main stage. Colin Baker and Bonnie Langford, interviewed by Matthew Sweet.
Yeah.
It's going to be like one of them Blu-ray interviews, but live on stage.
Oh, that's right. And that follows the John Coleshaw interview with Jason Hillery, too. John Coleshaw has been in the works for decades getting into this convention. Not decades, but a long time. So, and apparently he's a nice chap. So, and that is, of course,
good things.
Yeah, that is leading up to 3:00, Chris Chibnall interview with Gary Russell. Can we just? I want to throw a shout out for Chris Chibnall, whose era we kind of slaughtered on this podcast a couple months ago when we did this.
We didn't slaughter it; our guests did, and they had some points. To be fair, I'm not throwing them under the bus.
I understand, but like how much he is diving into this convention is astounding for someone who was in the position that he was in for the past 5 years.
Mm-hmm. Like, and this quick too, like immediately after, like he is on like panels on like the program C, and no disrespect to program C, but it is like a side stage. It's not the main stage. He's like in like these like, just writing for television, just how that's like there's just like roll up your sleeves kind of like just normal panels you would see any other writer on there. And here's the former showrunner of Doctor Who just jumping right in there. And I find that commendable. Well done. I think the man's a fan before anything else.
He is,
before anything else. Obviously, he has a TV career as well. But
yeah, he's a fan of Doctor Who and of the industry in and of itself. So it's.
He is going to be very well aware of some of the fan opinions of his work in the era.
Well, that's their problem, not his.
So I give him kudos for going to a fan-based convention, especially this soon after the end of his run.
Right.
It shouldn't need bravery and courage, but it kind of takes that.
I don't disagree with you. But this is fans. I've gotten people come up to me and talk to me about some podcast thing we did, and the same thing. Like everybody producing anything has to deal with this because some fan somewhere didn't like it. So not that I'm not saying anything bad about him. I'm just saying that this is not just isolated to him. This is a fan problem that fans have had since time immemorial. They should stop doing that.
Oh, definitely. Yeah, I know. Go ahead, Chris.
What I'd love to see happen is Gary Russell asking him no questions about Doctor Who and spending an hour on great. Cyberwoman.
Just Cyberwoman. Just like a live commentary. Just spray it on. Actually, instead of talking to you. Yep.
To the point where Chibnall's getting kind of uncomfortable about the whole business. It's like, can we talk about Cyberwoman? No, Cyberwoman.
I'm a little upset about this. This is a little bit Levitico syndrome here. Why are you putting these things in my eyes? I shouldn't have to watch this. Anyway, that's going to be most interesting. Anyway, yeah.
Yes. Alas, it is opposite my wife's first panel, the Orville panel.
Yep. Orville forever, all about Warren's favorite Star Trek spinoff, the Orville.
Well, the thing is, I haven't seen it, and I probably like it more than a few of the other Star Trek spinoffs. So
neither of you have watched it, correct?
Never have.
Nope. Oh. And as time goes on, and Alex Kurtzman marches forward, I may have to succumb. We'll see.
Maybe he doesn't look so bad after all. Yeah,
I think you should.
Yeah, Kat's on that though. She's on that panel.
She is.
Yeah.
I can't remember if she's. I don't think she's moderating, but I can't remember.
No, Craig Price is. Maybe I don't know. Actually, he's a host of Matinee Heroes.
Is it moderators on this Sked thing?
Moderated by Justin Daub.
Here's the thing, though. As time goes on, I am catching whatever it is that Steven is riddled with because I'm starting to just not care anymore. Like I was watching The Bad Batch, and I was just like, I'm trying, I really am, but it's nothing bad about it. I just don't have the gumption to do it. So.
Oh, you're on board with The Bad Batch there, the first season there.
I still am. I don't know.
Cartoons, right? Am I right? I mean.
No, it's just stuff generally. Like I have a bunch of Oscar-winning or about to Oscar-win or not films that I haven't gotten around to either. So,
yeah. Oh well. Well, don't watch those at Gallifrey One. Watch panels instead. Like Verity podcast in Defensive at 4:00 immediately following Kat's panel on the Orville. In Program B. Yes, it's Verity, who are on hiatus now, of course, but they're together again for one night only, and it's about time. Just throwing all the 1996 TV movie catchphrases in there.
All of them except for Tansy.
As per usual, because Tansy is in the other side of the world in Hobart.
I wouldn't say as per usual, because Lynn can't make it every year.
That's true.
But she's there for this one.
She's there for this one.
Her and Michael are there this year.
Yeah. So that's going to be fun, because obviously they didn't do it last year, and 2020 was a huge success. So it'll be fun. And I'm not on any panels around that time, so I'm going to try and check some of that out.
I'm marking that on my sked here.
Nice. You could also go to
Dan Slott. Oh.
Mm-hmm.
It's
go like you mused to yourself on here. That's good radio time.
Like Dan Slott,
although, yes. Never mind.
Yeah, behind the scenes, Tim Dane Reed is also doing a presentation because he's a Doctor Who creature performer. Has performed in many different episodes over the years, and so he's doing I like it when they do like these presentations with slideshows and photos and stuff of stuff that they've done for behind the scenes. So that's also cool. It's happening at 4:00 at the same thing, but yeah. But 5:00 though. 5:00. This is when the other big. I mean, I only on the main stage twice all weekend, and that's okay with me because then I get to wander around and do podcast stuff. But there, I should say, there's the Doctor Who death match, but you don't want to go to that because it's at the same time as the thing I'm about to talk about with Paul Cornell, a whole bunch of others, where they determine once and for all the best regeneration scene. It's the live commentary for The Power of the Doctor with Chris Chibnall, Jamie Magnus Stone, Daft Shermer, Janet Fielding, Sophie Aldred, moderated by me. I am looking forward to that for him. I did 2 live commentaries last Gallifrey One, and I had a blast. That's my new favorite thing is moderating commentaries. So I'm really looking forward to that. I'm going to watch it 2 more times at least this week. Once with the Blu-ray commentary on, and then once while reading along with the script that's available on the BBC Scripts, the Writers' Room page as well. So I'm nicely prepared for it. I will be sick of that episode by the time I watch it on Friday afternoon.
Just insulted up and down. This thing again.
Oh, here's another plot
also,
hole, Chris Chibnall. What's wrong with this here?
The annual Doctor Who music panel is also at the same time, which I didn't realize Jess Jerkovic was making his way back to Gallia this year because he was there last year.
Yeah,
and I missed him, so I look forward to meeting him properly this year. I hope.
Oh, he's a nice fella. We'll hear about him later on in this podcast because he's on another thing that I want to talk about. So yeah, so he won't be there for that, for the greatest live commentary of all time, for the
yes, of all time,
Power of the Doctor.
But it doesn't have Sacha Dhawan's pearly smile or whatever you said.
He's such a handsome man. You have listen, folks. You have no idea how handsome.
I'm pretty sure a few people listening to this podcast have a very definite idea how handsome he is.
No, you've only had like a photo op or you've seen him on TV. I sat next to him for an hour and a half. He is a handsome, charming man.
I'm not debating any of that. I'm sure he is. I'm just
Angela,
saying.
I'm sure Angela Mahindra would agree with you.
I'm just
I'm sure most of Tumblr would agree with you.
For 90 minutes, I had Sacha Dhawan to myself.
Okay, that's enough.
On that
You're
couch.
weird. Chris, go back to talking about stuff and then not elaborating.
Well, I want to point this out because there are some evening panels that happen as well. Our good friend Heather Berberet, who's been a co-host of this podcast a few times, is moderating the panel called Toxic Fandom and How to Cure It. There's nothing toxic about fandom. I don't know what you're talking about.
Absolutely not, especially not Star Wars.
Only an hour.
Or Doctor Who.
Yeah, I know. 7:30 and 8:30
hockey.
Program B. Yeah, I know. There's all sorts of things to talk about in that one. So that'll be quite interesting. It's opposite the Masquerade, but
you conveniently or otherwise skipped over fan video happy hour, which
How dare you?
Warren would love.
How dare I,
Yes, I
Warren?
would.
I'm so sorry. What's happening with Fan Video Happy Hour?
There are fan videos made by myself and probably 100 other people. That's actually not even probably off that far from how many videos there are. It's an hour and a half worth of fan vids where you take music and you take Doctor Who footage and you put them together and you make them cool. And I did that with one of them. And there's plenty other talented folk who did the same thing, including friend of the show. I don't know if she's been on the show, but assistant director Adrian Enderley and knower of lots of film stuff. She's got a video in there too.
Oh, wow. No, she's never been on this podcast, but we'll hear from her later on as well because she's doing something on the main stage that I want to talk about. So
at 6:30 as well, just to throw it out there. Animation Fascination, moderated by our friend Dan Peck,
Yes.
ex of Family Guy.
Yes.
Still with Family Guy?
no,
He's running the game last.
They gave him an award and then they turfed him because that's TV.
That's TV, baby.
Yeah.
That's TV.
Well, talking about animation on TV and whatnot, but also Rob Ritchie on that panel, who's done
from the
crap
interviews
ton
I've
of
heard,
animation for Doctor Who DVDs.
Yeah.
does not hold back on what he thinks. So
Nope.
Who? Rob or Dan?
Rob Ritchie.
Yeah, good.
As heard on this podcast.
Yeah, it's great.
Yeah,
Last year.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yep. There's the Masquerade, which is a fashion show, which is on the Friday night. In past, it's been on the Saturday night, but this is different now. It's on the Friday night. That's at 7:30 till 8:30. Then this is a cool treat. The Doctor Who Am I screening with Matthew Jacobs and Vanessa Ewell. They were both on this podcast a while ago when it was just hitting the convention circuit in the UK and looking for a distributor. It has found it now. It's on Blu-ray. You can buy it. It's coming to North American Blu-ray in March, I think. And there's going to be a special screening of it at Gallifrey One on Friday night at 8:30 p.m. in the main program stage. It's great. If you want to go watch it there, please do. I'm in it. I know I've mentioned that before.
No, it's never come up.
Never come up. It's good though. Very good. Very good movie.
8:30 as well. The Quiz of Rassilon, lovely pub quiz. I took part of that. Took part in that in 2018, 19.
At Gallifrey, you mean, or?
Yep.
Yeah.
With a handful of friends, and we came in second overall.
Nice work.
Well, second going into the last question. We won't talk about the final question.
Oh no, we will talk about the final question.
Second overall.
What happened to the final question, Chris? Was there?
I didn't get it right.
It sounded like a big mystery. And no,
Was it an easy one? Was it an easy question? Was it a
I don't
layup?
remember what it was.
Oh, okay.
This is 4 or 5 years ago. I don't remember 4 or 5 days ago, man.
Oh, I'm sure you lie awake just thinking, why did I get that question wrong? Why?
And then 9:30, the return of the Doctor Who confession dial. covering unpopular opinions about Doctor Who.
Oh,
like our love for Nightmare of Eden, for example.
Yeah, that's true. That's something worthy to be upset at us about.
This could be trouble, but it isn't, because of the panelists are all good, decent folk. But in the wrong hands.
That's true.
Tom Dickinson, who's moderating the panel, he's got a silver tongue. That man.
Oh,
he does. He really does.
I know, but
or diplomat.
His opinions are quite unpopular. His
opinions are popular, just not with old people like us.
I know. I don't know. I've heard him say some things about Doctor Who episodes that I really like, and I'm very offended by that personally.
That doesn't make them unpopular. That makes you not like them.
I don't know. I have to go and boo him at this return. I'm not gonna boo him. Also, the Cornell Collective, always a good time. That's happening at 10:30 when everyone's going to be 3 seats to the wind, and that's when it's best. There's a whole bunch of panelists like Paul Cornell.
I'm going to record it. No, I'm not.
No, you're not. Used to be recorded. They used to do that for They used to record it for the podcast, and that got too blasphemous. They had to stop it. So it'll be fun. I'll be there for that one as well. Drink in hand, probably. So. Yeah. So there you go. There's the Friday night. That is the Friday night. Because it's COVID, I'm not going to say if you survive.
Yeah, don't say it. Don't say it.
Join us on the...
That'd be in poor taste this year.
On the Saturday, which starts at 10 a.m., the ungodly hour of 10 a.m. I am 100% going to this, though. And then, this is a promise on the podcast, I'm going to ambush Simon Garrier after it. Because he's doing a whole panel, an hour-long panel, just him, on his research about David Whittaker, first story editor of Doctor Who, and he's writing a book about him that's coming out in the second half of this year. He's all over the looking for David Blu-ray extra on the season 2 box set, which is superb, and I want to talk to him about David Whittaker. So I'm going to go there basically for research, and then I'm going to go to Simon and say, "Tell me everything you just said, except do it quick." Not in an hour into this microphone, and then that's how it's going to happen. And that is my Saturday morning. There you go.
Cool.
Yep. I'm just saying it right now. Just saying it right now.
I'll just text him and say, if you see Stephen coming, run
far away. I have ways. Right after that, though, I want to say in Program B, we mentioned Jess Jerkovic. He is performing some of his transcriptions of Dudley Simpson's music from seasons 12 through 17 on the piano in Program B at 11 a.m. That is awesome. That is so awesome. Mm-hmm. Cool. So, Chris, I encourage you to go to that panel because it's going to be great.
I'm marking it on my sched.
Do it. I hope to be whatchamacallit, stalking Simon Garrier at the time, as previously mentioned, but I watched the YouTube videos, so at least I have an inclination of what he's doing. So
yes, and he's been
Stephen,
on the
there's a Blake
podcast
7 fan meetup. Why aren't you going to that?
Oh wow, because
because he's stalking Simon Garrier. We've been over this.
I have stuff to do. All right. Jeez, Warren. So yeah, I recommend the Whittaker panel, and the Dudley Simpson one there. But there's main stage stuff too with the First Doctor era for all the Big Finish people there who are doing the First Doctor audios, and the Second Doctor audios for the Big Finish people are on there, and also just talking about the TV era as well, and then also the Third Doctor, which sort of dovetails with the Big Finish era as well. That takes up. It's a nice little 3 hour or 2.5 hour set, I guess, all the way up. So there. Anything else jumping at you in the early part of that day there across different things?
11:25. 11:25. Jodie Whittaker and 13th Doctor coat photo session.
Oh my God! She's wearing the 13th Doctor coat, or
yeah.
That lineup is going to be out the door.
Oh,
and then probably outside.
Wow, that's something. That is real cool. There's going to be so many Jodie cosplayers, so many. I'm looking forward to seeing Dominic Martin's going to be there for his first Gallifrey One, which is pretty cool. People might know him off the Twitters, and he's also a notable cosplayer. I'm looking forward to seeing all the Jodie cosplayers. I'm looking forward to seeing all the Ncuti Gatwa cosplayers. I imagine there's going to be a few. I'm looking forward to seeing if anybody's going to put together a 14th Dr. David
Grizzled
Tennant
Tennant.
costume. Yep.
So on Facebook today, our friend Andy Tremblay painted his nails like Ncuti Gatwa.
No way. Wow. Yeah. Love it. That is way cool. Very cool indeed. Here's one of the things that I talked about earlier about Chris Chibnall. He's on the evolution of writing for television panel on Program C. That is going to be a packed room for Program C because Chris Chibnall's on it with Jerry Sheva from The Orville and Family Guy and David Gerald and Avi Grillo Marks Watch and like Gillian Horvath and Craig Bill, like actual proper pros. Yep. With of course the former showrunner of Doctor Who being on there too. That's
his peers, right? So
that's his peers. Yeah. I think I might just check that out too. If I was signed in,
I have it checked off.
Yeah.
If you're done stalking Simon,
I should be done stalking Simon within the hour after his panel. So and then I'm going to stalk Chris Chibnall. If I haven't annoyed him.
I like how you've laid out a trail of evidence for the LAPD about a week hence.
I know. These are my plans.
Same time, 12 o'clock, just to pimp that panel.
Yeah.
Kat is doing the Men Behind the Masks with the aforementioned Craig Ells, Patrick O'Kane.
She'll get their names right.
So a bunch of the monsters and creatures. The men behind them, I guess.
Good for Kat. That's a lot of people to wrangle on one panel on the main stage. Good for her.
It's 6 of them. That's a lot. Mm-hmm. The upshot I'm hoping for her benefit is that it's gonna take care of itself with that many people.
It can. You know. Yeah. One of the great things is when like the two guests start talking to each other about a thing they're talking about. Says, "Oh yes, thank you so much."
Well, and the great thing about actors, like I always like when I had to interview Sarah Sutton, and I was super nervous about it. But then they're actors; they're just good at handling a crowd better than I am. That's for damn sure. So you just go, okay, well, let them go to work. They're really good at this. This is their job. So I'll just ask some questions, and then it'll just kind of proceed from there. And actors are easier than anybody else for that most of the time, except for Patricia Quinn.
Oh, she's great. Patricia Quinn was great. Chris is. I know. Kat in the past has like gotten nervous with when you're in attendance. So will you? This is the thing. Do you get to go to this or no?
I'm gonna. Well, I'm gonna go to the evolution of writing for television.
There you go.
Well,
that said, yeah. Apparently there's a podcasters meetup at the same time.
I never knew there was a podcasters meetup until I looked at that earlier today. I know podcasters meetup.
Let's mark both of those off, and I'll choose later on which one I end up going to.
But not Kat's panel though, because it'll make her nervous. Even though it's the big stage, she wouldn't see you. Even though you're 6'10", she would not see you out there. So you could nip in and tell her about it afterwards. By the way, I showed up for the last 15 minutes of it or so.
She's going to listen to this anyway, but I could just lie to her and say,
I
was there. It was good.
Marriage is built on a good foundation, of lies. So that's perfect. That's perfect. Hold on. At 1 o'clock, boy, this is awesome. This or that, always a treat every single year. Kim and Sage from Head Over Fields host it. This year is Sophie Aldred and Janet Fielding. That'll be a barn burner. That's on the main stage.
Usually is, yeah.
Yeah. That'll be fun. Simon Guerrier, once he's done fleeing me, is on a great looking panel moderated by Amanda Ray Prescott called Doctor Who's Tragical History Tour about historical stuff, which is cool because that is right up Amanda Ray Prescott's alley right there.
She is very, very, very good at that stuff.
Very, very good. Very good. Also, there's other playing the IP sandbox, writing for pre-existing characters and worlds with Paul Cornell and a whole bunch of other people who write, comics and stuff for Doctor Who. That's an interesting topic as well. All this stuff is happening at 1 o'clock, and then there's the present and future of Doctor Who conventions, which I'm also like the behind the scenes of running conventions in this day and age, with a whole host of people. Like Sean Lyon's going to be on that one, and Ken Deep and Stephen Warren Hill from Chicago TARDIS, and so
Jason Tucker from Console Room.
Yeah, Dan Harris from Sci-Fi Sea Cruise. So this is man, that's a top. This is the tragedy of Gallifrey is when there are 4 things you want to go see, and they're all at the same time. So
And for the nerds out there, there's a JPL meet and greet.
What do you mean if the nerds out there? There's everybody there. Come on.
No. You know, the actual proper science nerds, though, you know.
Oh, yes, true. Yes, fair enough.
Yeah. So, 1 to 2 is going to be a tough one for me. 2 o'clock, another big one. Doctor Who production stories with Matthew Sweet and Chris Chibnall, Arwell Wynne-Jones, Daft Schirmer, Jamie Magnus-Stone, a.k.a. 75% of our live show. No, Arwell Wynne-Jones was there years ago. But talk about behind-the-scenes stuff, about making Doctor Who. You know how I feel about that. So, yeah, probably going to have to go to that as well. It's going to be pretty fun. Anything else jumping out at you in those days? What's jumping out at you at 2 o'clock there, Warren?
Well, for one thing, I'm going to be interviewing Clyde Langer himself, Daniel Anthony. Stories from the Sarah Jane Adventures, so there's that. But also, color separation overlay. Guess who's coming to the Panopticon is interesting. I can't go to it because I'm going to be interviewing Daniel Anthony. But what I was thinking is it's nice that finally we don't have the could a woman be the doctor, and finally we can't have could a person of color be the doctor. Well, it's been answered, so shut up.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah,
the color separation overlay panel has been going for a good few years.
Yeah, and I've always heard good things about it. I've never gone to it, but I've always heard good things about it.
Yeah. This feels like a nice victory lap now, you know? Like
exactly,
yes.
Yeah.
You know,
it's
but
like stop asking this damn question, please.
Yeah, because it's gonna be pretty cool. So
just tell him what the hell is going on. That's all we want.
That's all we've ever seen. I'm sure we got one so far.
Can someone please tell what the hell's going on?
There's also the Blake 7 Big Finish panel with a bunch of people. I suspect, I don't know, well, Gary Russell's on there, and I'm wondering if they're going to talk about the new novelizations.
They are. That's exactly what it's about.
Coming out from that.
That's what it is. The Blake 7
Is it about
origin.
I haven't looked at the description.
It is indeed. It is indeed, Chris.
Oh, it is about the books. There it is, right there in black and white.
It is. I know. It's going to hover over the link, and it'll tell you all you need to know.
Yeah.
Not on my iPad.
Not on your iPad. Here. No.
But that Doctor Who production stories panel, that's going to be a tough one to say no to.
Right. Sorry, Warren.
Damn. Yeah.
You might
Thanks
have lost
for nothing, Daniel Anthony, except for an hour of your time.
You might have lost the ratings war on that one. I'm very, very
That's
sorry.
fine. Whatever. There's probably some Sarah Jane Adventure and indeed Clyde stands who are going to be going to this thing. So
yeah,
I got to do good by them and by him.
That's true. There's a panel about the book, The Vainglorious Villains of Doctor Who. Ken Deep's written one of those things, one of the essays of that one, with a whole host of people. That's happening at 3 o'clock. One Mars, there's another JPL one immediately after yours, Warren. So you could stick around and learn about Mars, man. Actual Mars. Proper Mars, not fake movie Mars.
You're telling me Total Recall wasn't entirely 100% accurate?
So I've been told.
The core of Mars is not ice? How dare you?
I've been told that that's the case. But Bonnie Langford interview. There's a Bonnie Langford interview because Bonnie Langford is attending Gallifrey One for the first time in like 20-odd years, and she'll be talking to Gary Russell solo on the main stage, 3:30 to 4:15. Followed immediately by Colin Baker interview with our good friend Riley Silverman. Anything else happening before the big events happen at 5 o'clock that you want to talk about there, chaps?
A lot of photo stuff happening.
Panel about what might we expect from the new RTD era with our friend Jeremy Raddick.
Yeah,
that might be an interesting discussion.
Writer, editor, recovering actor. Says his bio. Love it.
Oh, is it?
Fine fellow.
So it is.
Yeah. I mean,
RFS fan against all odds.
You know what? I because Galley is Galley, and you know, you don't see as much of people as you want every single year because there were fewer people. I had more of a chance to hang out with Jeremy last year. It was a lot of fun. I like him, so I'm glad he's back. Not that I expected any different for him to not to be back, but yeah, look for Jeremy if you're listening. Looking forward to catching up.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Warren, any interest in that the future of the comics industry panel there at 4 o'clock?
Yeah, that does interest me. I might have to check that one off for right now. There we go.
There we are.
Also, yeah. Chris Jones has some cool looking posters. I'm just blowing my own chances of getting this poster, but he has got some cool stuff on offer. So I'm going to be getting the dealer's room and try and get that pretty quick too.
Oh, Chris Jones, of course,
is a fine artist. Yes.
Oh, he's amazing. He did the pin, the Plague Year pin for the last two Gallifrey Ones that I think everyone who bought tickets for last year's got that pin in the mail.
The third Doctor comic that Paul Cornell wrote, which is a great comic. So,
oh, he did. That's right. Yeah. That's superb stuff. Yeah. This is all leading up to apologies to Doctor Who Beyond the Screen and Neil Gaiman Forever panel because it's opposite Jodie Whittaker interview with Deb Standish at 5:00. No offense to Colin Baker or Riley, they're going to get probably a lot of people sitting in on that one who are getting really good seats for Jodie Whittaker's first convention interview at Gallifrey One.
Whatever works.
Yeah.
I'm still gonna throw a shout out there for Dream Lords to Time Lords, the Neil Gaiman panel, because it's moderated by Kat.
I'm sorry, Kat. I'm good for her. I didn't realize she's in the moderating so much.
The Sunday Jodie Whittaker thing then.
Oh,
that's cool.
Is that how it works? Oh wow. Well, there we go. That's handy. Very handy indeed. Because there's another Jodie Whittaker interview on the Sunday, so that's cool. That's gonna be huge. It's gonna be massive. Just because they are. I mean, I don't.
And again, kudos to Jodie Whittaker for coming to this thing so soon.
Absolutely.
She's not even really not the Doctor anymore. Yet.
It is amazing.
It's been over a year for her though.
I know,
I suppose, but yeah,
she's had a kid in between her leaving Doctor Who and coming here now. It's amazing that basically Bradley Walsh has been, John Bishop hasn't been there. They're different. Mandip Gill, Tosin Cole, Jodie Whittaker, Chris Chibnall have all now been to Gallifrey One almost instantly after their time on Doctor Who. Clearly this convention has a reputation, and it is one that people want to attend because it's I imagine that they can probably do a lot more successfully financially perhaps at the giant conventions where they're basically the velvet ropes where you're sitting there and you pay for all the autographs and everything else, and that's basically what their whole weekend is. But this is a much different convention, and the fact that everyone wants to come to this convention is very heartwarming indeed. So good times. That's going to be a great panel. Deb will do a fantastic job.
That does not happen without a certain Sean Lyon running the show for the past 30 and plus years.
Absolutely, it doesn't. God. Sean, you are responsible for so much in our lives, and that is not an exaggeration. Game of Rassilon, Warren, you are going to be at that. You're not.
I will be at. No. I'm not part of it. I'm just at it. Yeah.
Yeah. Game of Rassilon is the D&D Doctor Who themed D&D Doctor Who podcast with Riley.
RPG. It's actually RPG. Just to be pedantic for once in my life. It is the actual Doctor Who RPG. They're not playing D&D and putting a coat of paint on it.
Right.
but also I am going to be involved with the show itself. But they should be the ones to tell you that, not me. So.
Right.
But not the panel. I'm not on the panel right
You're not on the panel, no.
It's going to be there.
You'll be there holding up cue cards or something like that.
That's exactly what I'll be doing.
Yeah.
Because that's how role-playing games work, Stephen. You have cue cards.
Is that how it is? I mean, I don't play them that often.
No, it's got nothing to do with that. It's the exact opposite of that. You know nothing. Nothing.
I know. I was kidding. But
yeah. Stephen, roll for initiative.
Okay.
You failed.
All right.
You got the first negative initiative in game history.
Is that a 20? It's a D20, right?
No, it's not. Stop. Just stop.
Well, I have a D20.
You're not even ahead.
I have it right here. I have a D20 right now.
I've got a D20 in my hands. I'm not rolling it.
I got 11. I got 11. Is that good for initiative? Is that good? Because I got it.
Depends on what other people have for initiative. I'm not getting this. I'm not explaining this to you. To hell with this.
All right. 8 o'clock, Idiot's Lantern sketch comedy show is on with a whole host of people, which is always a good time. On the Saturday night, and then after that it's the karaoke. This isn't the dance parties in the program C, which is a smaller room, and then the karaoke, which I went to last year and sang with my mask on, which felt very strange, but I did. And
what did you sing?
I sang True by Spandau, but they didn't have as many songs as I wanted, and so I looked at I guess I'll do this one because it's the only one that's.
You had a miserable time, it sounds like.
I know. Yeah, the karaoke. I wish they had more songs at the karaoke. That's my there's my little thing for the suggestion box. I wanted more songs. The karaoke, they didn't have any, so I had fun. It was fun though. It's always fun on the Saturday night, which is the fun night. I love Saturday night at Gallifrey One because it's not Sunday.
So it's all good times.
But. I know it's all great times, but it's the one night where you feel like proper. Let it all hang out. Let it have fun night sort of thing because just I don't know, Saturday nights. Sunday morning, 10 a.m. Riley's lucky in that she has 2 panels on the main stage, and both of them lead into Jodie Whittaker interviews, which means she's going to have a pretty nice lead-in audience because she's doing the live episode commentary for Ascension of the Cybermen with Simon Carew, Mickey Lewis, Patrick O'Kane, Richard Price, all creature performers on that episode. Also, if you have a VIP pass, you will be attending the Jodie Whittaker script reading, VIP pass script reading, which is happening at the exact same time in Program B. But we don't have that, so that won't be us. As I said, Ty Gooden will be interviewing Jodie Whittaker at 11 a.m. immediately after that, and we're off and running on Sunday. Is there what else on Sunday that you see there is suiting your fancy there?
I see something that I'm just trolling you with, which is Agents of Marvel, which is all about the Marvel television shows you love so much with Simon Garriott. So you could pin him down if he's eluded you up to this point.
I could pin him down right there. Says, Simon, listen, I know you're on this panel, Simon. We haven't had a chance to talk, but listen, you don't want anything to do with these Marvel shows, right? David Whittaker didn't write for any of these shows.
I hate to break it to you, but a lot of people, just not you, like these shows.
No, I don't think they do. I think
sure.
I think David Whittaker wrote the pilot script for Moon Knight.
Pretty sure he did. Sat in a cupboard for 60 years.
It didn't go anywhere because the main character of it, and in fact the universe, was Steven Shabansky.
Yes, so. I know. It's just like, nope. I don't believe I granted let that. It's gone. So. It's gone. There's also an interesting one, actually. There's a panel called "In with the Old" where they debate about, like, you know, with Doctor Who coming to Disney Plus, like which episodes would you like, you know, would you pair with new modern episodes with classic series episodes to sort of, like, you know, try to get people new to the show to be interested in them. There's a whole podcast there, I think, which I think there already is. I think something already does that. Yeah, but. That's kind of cool for a panel. Once again, Chris Chibnall being put to work by his own admission. There's a whole thing about film and TV production in the 21st century. Goodness me, that's changed a lot even in the past month.
Exactly.
You know, Chibnall's on that with a whole host of people. I'm talking about how they make TV and stuff like that. So that's pretty cool on the main stage at 1:00. Anything else? What else is jumping out of you? I know I have one coming at 1:00, but anything else there jumping out of you?
I'm just scrolling. Chris, you go ahead. Oh, Chris, wait a minute. 1:00. This might be yours, Stephen, but Blue Who I want to go see because that's the DVD one.
That's the one. Yeah.
Well, specifically the Blu-ray one.
Yeah.
Faux show.
Yeah, with Simon Gary, Rob Ritchie, Gary Russell, Matthew Sweet, Sam Lee Rome. So, moderated by Rob Ritchie. Good for him. Which means Matthew Sweet, because Matthew Sweet was on one last year, which wasn't quite what they advertised, and so it didn't quite work out. I was like, I want to hear what Matthew Sweet has to say about the stuff he's done for these Blu-rays, and he never had a chance, but now he will. There's a voice acting panel with all the different voice actors from Big Finish and stuff at 1:00. Cool. Yep. There's another live episode of commentary with Chris Chibnall yet again because the man does not want to stop working.
He's going to be exhausted.
I know. Our friend Adrian Andrele is doing that one for the Halloween Apocalypse with Chris Chibnall, Craig Ells, and Jamie Magda Stone. So Adrian has a background and indeed her current career is in TV
knows
production.
Her stuff.
She really does. So that is a commentary that is right up alley. I would like to go see that one. I may well just. So, yeah. And then, Sunday is kind of the fade out day, and they do that on purpose because no one wants to have a jam-packed Sunday on the last day of the convention. And so this is one thing I really like about Sunday at Gallifrey One is that they kind of, they fade out.
Taper
and it's
it
nice.
Down a bit, yeah.
Yeah.
Although at 2 p.m., I would like to go to Writing Doctor Who for Audio with a friend of the show and Verity, Elizabeth Miles, and Joseph Lister, Lisa McMullen, Matt Fitton, Rossa McPhillips. That's all people who presumably write for Big Finish. I think most of them, at least.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Believe so. Always good. That's what I love about Gallifrey One. There's always these panels about creating Doctor Who, as opposed to, not just share your memories about being in it, but how do you create it? How have you created it? How will you create it? It's all
another big difference between that and say San Diego Comic-Con or our Fan Expo. Yeah. Where it's like, keep your distance, nerds.
Exactly. Over there, behind the rope. Not that rope, the other one. Go.
Maybe it Maybe at 2:55, Warren, you and I will have to pool our money and get a photo shoot with Anne Lockhart.
Which Battlestar Galactica person is that? I don't remember.
Sheba?
Oh,
Can't remember. The daughter, Kane's daughter.
I can't remember. All I remember is Lucifer, the coolest robot ever to exist.
Yes.
So now, if the person who played Lucifer was there in the costume, I would pay. Money would be no object. Come on, you glittery so-and-so, get over here.
Yeah. Kudos to Jodie Whittaker too, by the way. She was like the last photo op of the day at like 3:40 p.m. So she's staying to the bitter end of this whole thing, which is amazing. And then there's the final big panel of the whole thing is the nostalgia tours with Sophie Aldrich, Colin Baker, Janet Fielding, Fraser Hines, Bonnie Langford, Katie Manning, Wendy Padbury, all moderated by Lynn Edmund Thomas. She has done the big year-end review with like 20 people on stage before, so this is just a walk in the park. Only 7? I mean, come on. Bring her knitting, for crying out loud. She's got plenty of time.
Nicely done.
So that'll be fun.
Way to suck up to the boss. Way to suck up to the boss.
Yeah.
One of many bosses.
Yeah, and then the year in review, and then the closing ceremonies, and that's Gallifrey One for a whole other year, and then after that it's LobbyCon, and no one wants the night to end, and it's very sad but very happy at the same time. And it's Gallifrey One, and I'm glad you two champs are back again this year to experience it all. Yeah,
I don't know what I'm going to do with myself Monday because my flight isn't until 7, so I'm hanging around that lobby long past due.
Gross. Well, Chris, you stay the whole day. You leave Tuesday, don't you? Is that how it works?
Yep, we fly out on Tuesday, so Monday. I have no idea yet what we're going to do, but we'll figure something out for Monday. Go somewhere and do stuff, whatever that stuff is. I don't know.
Yeah,
I foolishly didn't realize I'd be landing at probably getting home at midnight, basically, and didn't have the next day off. So I told my boss, I kind of need this next day off. She's like, yeah, totally, of course. But then I said to myself, well, if it isn't Ant-Man and the Wasp, Quantum Mania. So I'm going to go see that. So no spoilers, anybody. Tell me nothing. Make stuff up. I make it wrong. I don't care.
That's right.
I barely know who Kang is. Do not explain it. I'm just going to see it on the Tuesday after Gallifrey.
Was he in one of those shows before? This Kang fellow, was he in one of the?
Sorta. I'm not gonna infuriate you with the explanation of yes, kind of, but not really. Sorta. Yeah.
That's about typical.
It'll just irritate you. I won't explain it.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah.
Sorry, Chris. I interrupted you.
I was saying he was in Loki, wasn't he?
Yes, ... I'll explain off air so the listeners are subjected to your abject fury over Marvel's latest, in quotes, transgression.
Is it fury? Is it just indifference for... Listen, Ward, I'll be happy to scroll past all these Marvel shows on my way to watch Doctor Who on Disney Plus later this year.
The only reason you're going to have Disney Plus.
Thinking, they've made a new show about the Hawkeye or something, I guess. I guess he recovered from his snowplow accident. Well, that's great. All right.
Wow. That was not necessary.
That was
back in 2005 when the CBC was showing Doctor Who, a friend of mine who had no knowledge of the show decided to tune in one day thinking it was a medical drama. and then got hooked.
Depends. Do you see Smith & Jones? I mean, maybe.
Yeah. Now they're hooked. Just like everyone going to Gallifrey One this coming weekend. Hope to see you, as many of you there as we can. We'll be around. Say hello or not. Keep your distance. It's entirely up to you.
Wow.
The comfort.
It's a roller coaster, man.
Your comfort level is a-okay. If this is your first time at a convention in 3 years, do your best to enjoy it. It'll be a grand time, and everyone there will be looking to have just as good a time. So. You will hear from us there. Our live show is happening on the Friday morning. We'll probably pop that out of the feed fairly quickly afterwards. I'm hoping to maybe at least do one, probably 2 more podcasts over the course of the weekend, kind of going old school a little bit. I love the daily podcasts, the buzz of all that, depending on whether or not I successfully hunt down Simon Guerrier.
Poor guy.
Yeah, I know. He has.
I'm going to actively work against you. I'm going to be there 5 minutes early to warn him you're coming.
Warn him off. So yeah, it'll be fun. It's just a blast. I love this weekend so much, and we have loved covering it and attending it and being a part of it for the past 14 or 13 years, depending on your point of view. And it'll be a fun time to be a part of it again. So we will see you all next time at Gallifrey One. Until then, I am Stephen in Edmonton.
Warren in Vancouver.
And Chris in Edmonton.
So long for now.
been listening to Radio Free Skaro. Find us online at radiofreescaro.com, follow us on Twitter and Tumblr at Radio Free Skaro, subscribe to us on iTunes, and donate to the show at patreon.com/Radio Free Skaro. Thank you.